I bring to you Barbara Bowers. What color is your aura? Now, I know that gets a little woo-woo for some people, but we're going to give you the science on it. So first, I want you to take a picture, look at this picture. Now, this book is old. I need you to remember that. So you see it's got a little bit of love up top, but you see that? That shows the human body, and all that around it is different colors, energy, and each one represents a different type of energy in the body, right? So I want you to just keep this picture in mind, okay? And so let's see what this talks about here. What are we talking about? It says, your aura, the colored band of energy that surrounds your body, is a powerful key to your personality. There are 14 essential aura colors, and one of them is yours. When you know the specific aspects of your aura color, you can better understand your emotions, your talents, and potential. You can also explore which colors you are most compatible with romantically, sexually, in your friendships, and in your career. And it goes on to say, what color is your aura reveals the vital connection between your aura and your personality, and is the only book that includes a certified test you can use to determine on your own the color of your aura. Author Barbara Bowers, a management consultant and career counselor, developed the personality spectrum system after years of research based on her ability to see auras. Her unique system will help you to determine the career choices that match your innate talents, choose the best friends, lover that you can for yourself, understand different styles of communicating and how you can get through to anyone, find out the best ways to manage your money, discover secrets about your personality and your sexual personality, take a personal and professional risk that might be right for you. So in this book, it mentions that there is a questionnaire that it is comprised of 98 questions, right? I'll read a couple just so y'all can kind of get an idea what they are. But before I get to that, I want you to know that is there, that questionnaire. So before we go further, I told you what the book is about and what its goals are. So let's talk about the book itself. It was done, the original publication was out of Pocket Books, a division of the Simon & Schuster Inc. In New York. Copyrighted in 1989. So, like I said, it got some love on it. 1989. And it says Barbara Bowers is director and founder of the Barbara Bowers Consultants, Barbara Bowers Design and Life Color Inc., and has served as a personnel management consultant for Fortune 500 companies and as a consultant and team builder for various school districts. A former high school teacher and guidance counselor, she has served as an educational consultant for California Council of Social Studies and the University of California System and the University of Ohio, Boise. So she was one of those counselors we went to when we went to high school, and they're like, okay, so what you gonna do when you grow up, basically. And she was the one who would probably get, I forget the word, the sentence for the word that TABE test that they give you to best see where you're fit, like what kind of jobs or what have you. So I guess she was the one who would deliver that, and then based upon that, help you find jobs, or careers, or point you in the way of careers that end up allowing you to have the job that you want to have. But what she learned was that she felt she had an advantage because she was able to see auras. And so she was able to better understand what her students would excel at, where they would struggle, what type of personality they were, and etc. Now, she didn't, it doesn't say she incorporated any of that in that system when she was working with it, but I would imagine that this type of ability of skill would allow for that type of person in that job to be more efficient because they can see something we don't, you know, and we know many times other people see our potential and we don't. So that's very common. And she said she had an extra advantage by being able to see these colors. So she goes on, let's see, it has chapters here on the human rainbow, and then it's the questionnaire. So with this book, you really don't go any further until you've done the questionnaire, because you would be looking for something specific to you. And then once you learn a little bit more about the color specific to you, then you would go in and see how those colors interact with other colors, etc., in the exercises that she has in here. But I will go ahead and tell you the colors because I thought they were interesting because, you know, in many of the metaphysic and esoteric studies, when they talk about the aura, they use or the field around you, they only usually refer to the colors like they did in that rainbow in this book. So from red to violet, you understand what I'm saying? But here I found it interesting that she entered some other colors that were not a part of this chakra color system that we are more familiar with. So the colors are red, orange, magenta, yellow, physical tan, mental tan, green, nurturing tan, loving tan, blue, violet, lavender, crystal, and indigo.
Okay.
When I first read that, I remember saying to myself, tan. And then it's a physical tan, a mental tan, a nurturing tan, a loving tan. Wait, what is this tan? And where did it come from? And I also remember spotting the very first time that they had violet and lavender separated. Because when we think about violet and lavender, we think about purple, which is all in the same family, but it's very different when you're looking at the human rainbow. So in the human rainbow, the first part of the book, she talks about the human aura and the personality attributes revealed by the rainbow of colored light that surrounds the body. It says that the aura is an electromagnetic field that emanates from all living things. The colors and patterns within this energy field constitute a kind of blueprint of a person's soul, a chart of an individual's potential. It says she's developed a system that she calls the personality spectrums to assist people in finding their pathway to a full and productive life. And she says people who know the color of their personality are able to make decisions, implement changes, take risks, not out of fear or anger, but from the power that comes from knowing themselves. And I mean, isn't that the goal for all of us, most of us who are on this journey? Well, all of us on this journey is to really know ourselves. Some of us don't know it yet. That's why I said some of us, but yeah, all of us, to know ourselves, whether we know it or not. The information, she goes on in the rest of this chapter, and I'm skipping around because again, this information is think of this more like a booklet that you'll be like a workbook, you know, and you can't really go any further until you do the workbook test to figure out where it is you belong in the book. But she does a great job in the beginning of talking a little bit about the personality spectrums. So she talks about the approach to the physical reality and how that includes environment, health, and the real world. Mental attitudes, which includes intellectual capabilities, thinking, and problem solving skills. Emotional makeup, your personal interactions with emotional health and well being. Your social style, your friendships and intimate relationships. Compatibility with other colors, includes your strengths, your weaknesses of each pair of colors for emotional, mental, and physical compatibility. So this is letting us know you might be physically compatible or mentally compatible, but incompatible in other ways. Your personal power and leadership style, which talks about the power and leadership skill within a group. Financial choices, your attitudes and values concerning money and finance. And that is very important. And Nick, I know you can speak directly to this about dollars, you know, with your work that you do in Dollars, Dreams, and Destiny about mindset, and the other work that you do about mindset and what you think about money and how that really does matter. So she covers that in here, which ties right into career options. You know, why are you doing something? So representative careers in which individual talents and capabilities would lead to success. So this would help you, instead of wandering, focusing and dialing on that which is best to help you in that area of finance. And last but not least, spirituality, which talks about moral, ethical, and religious attitudes, feelings, and values, because all of that is very important as well. And understanding that inside your own self and your personality type helps you to be able to better function in the world, because again, no man is an island, you know. And for those who don't know what that means, is you can't do it all by yourself. You gotta interact with the rest of the world. That's what you're here for. Each aura has an individual pattern of behavior that are distinct from each other in each other color. In some cases, behaviors may be similar, but the motivations that fuel the behaviors are different. So you got some people that are in, let's say, a particular field for one thing, somebody else did just for the money. You understand? Not saying that one is right or wrong, it's just what they're there for is different. Some people want to go to school to be an engineer. Some people go to school to be an engineer because it's a good job. You know what I mean? It makes good money. So same thing there. Understanding the basis of people's deep-seated drives helps us to be more tolerant of the external actions and the words of others. I think, you know, I don't really be highlighting and things like that, but you know, this book got highlights in it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna let you know it was some good stuff in here. And I mean, you know, I'm teaching from a, you got to remember, when I got this book, I'm teaching as a teacher, but as well as a student. You know, it wasn't like I knew this stuff. It wasn't like it was someplace I can go and learn this stuff at that time. So I was learning right along with everybody else. And so to be bringing this work back again here in 2026 is really a gift for me, because it allows me to go back now with the wisdom that I've had over these lots of years to revisit this book again. So and being tolerant of people externals actions is so important. And not just being tolerant of it, because I don't want it to seem like we're supposed to just put up with anything from anybody, but if we know that Sally has impulse control problems, you know, this is her personality type, we're not surprised when she does something that you know lacks impulse control. You see that devil with, or should I say, that will require control over her actions at that moment, her impulses. Now, after it's said and done, will there be consequences? Should it have been checked? Can it be checked and quelled before? Well, if you know it's there, that's when you can work on it. You can't work on things you don't know. So this is again another tool to help us know ourselves better. It talks about compatibility, and I found this part interesting. It says compatibility are different for each aura color. Now listen, how green relates to red may be different than from how red relates to green. So I can be red and I'm relating to you, and we still our same colors, but I can't get where you're coming from. But you're able to get where I'm coming from. It's something in your green that allows you to understand red, but it's something in my red that doesn't allow me to understand green. It's very interesting, fascinating stuff. It says, therefore, you need to read in your color chapter and how your color relates to your mate, your lover, or and then turn to your partner's color chapter to see how they relate to you. So for those who are into things like relationship, divination, things like that, another tool to put into your book is this. People who do compatibility charts. I can see them using something like this as a tool, just suggestions. She goes on page 14 and says here, a word of caution. And this was one of the only words of caution that I found in here, and I have it highlighted. It says, a word of caution. There are no good colors and no bad colors. Each color within the personality spectrum has strength and weaknesses. And I think that's important to point out about anything or most things that we study, especially at this esoteric and metaphysic level, is there is no good and bad, no right and wrong. There's levels to this thing.
That's right.
There's levels. And everything has its strengths and everything has its weaknesses, and things have, actions, have reactions, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
So, so far I've given you basically the breakdown. I just want to say this last part, and then I'll read a couple of these questions, and maybe you can ask me about a specific color and I'll tell you something about it. But I would love for people to join MaWu Lisa Temple this fall, man. We're going to be doing this right here. We're going to be talking about our colors. We're going to be learning these auras. Yeah, okay, so it says the aura is a luminous, egg-shaped cloud of pulsing energy that surrounds the human body. It extends out from the body about 6 feet in all directions. That's when somebody be saying, back up, give my person space. Back up, give me 6 feet. That's exactly what they mean. Give me my 6 feet. It's made up of concentric bands or layers of colored light, that travel in patterns around the body. It says, to me, the color is the most important aspect of the aura. Each color in the auric spectrum can vary greatly in hue and value. The more in touch we are with our own unique talent and skills, the richer and more luminous the colors in our aura will be. The colors of individuals who are emotionally withdrawn or have given up on life tend to fade into thin pastel washes. Good physical, mental, and emotional health is seen in clear, bright colors. Depression and anger and self-pity tend to muddy the auric colors. I'm going to tell you something. I remember the first time I ever saw like a muddy aura. It is luminous. It reminds you of the movies when you just see like a little, like spirit or something, that they got it trying to Woo, that's kind of what it looked like. But when the aura is bright, it is bright, but when it's thin, it is thin. But that muddy one, that is you can tell, like, it makes sense that that's depression or sadness, because I would imagine, well, I don't have to imagine what depression feels like.
Yeah.
I don't have to imagine what depression feels. It feels muddy, y'all. It feels muddy.
It sounds
So
muddy.
the fact that that was the way she described it, really, touched base with me. And then she talked about the size of it. Size does matter in this case. Some people's auras are large and full of information, while others are thin, indicating lives that are spiritually, mentally, emotionally undernourished. So if you got a thin aura, unlike being a thin supermodel, a thin aura means you need to get on some of that spiritual, mental, and emotional work because you undernourished. The shape of the aura is indicative of general health and well-being of an individual. It identifies the area of the body where individuals hold stress. Now I'm gonna let you know, we in Leo season, heart season, low back season. Now, a lot of people, I was just talking about this, low back, those pains usually come from financial insecurity, financial worry, financial frustration. And the heart, that's right there in the center. You know for yourself when your heart ain't right, when your heart ain't right, when you're sad, depressed, and all the other things. So right now, if you saw somebody's aura that was under this influence of the energy going on now, you can see like a little bubble in the aura. Like might look like it's floating out a little bit, or might look a little depressed and flat. Like, instead of being that perfect egg, it might look mashed in or leaned out this way. So, again, this is fascinating work. And she goes on to talk about, let's talk about this. A thick aura indicates the ability to search within oneself for information to solve problems. I thought that was interesting because, when we have to go in, right, to search something inside of ourselves, it's like we have to build a little something outside of us, because distractions is going to continue to come. As soon as you say I'm gonna do XYZ, every distraction in the world come. So if you think of your body and your aura that way, when you are working on yourself, the thicker the aura around you, the less things can penetrate and cause you distraction and take the focus off of you. Because at the end of the day, it's about you, not in a selfish way, but in a way that allows you to be selfless. Put that on t-shirt, and I want my cut. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, so I want to touch on this because I started to pull out one of my my Korean photography photos, which is an auric photo. I've taken some of those. I started to pull out one, but I was like, I don't want everybody knowing all my shimmy, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, if you can't see it, you ain't need to know it. But anyway, it says for 50 years. Now, mind you, this was 1989. So for 50 years at this point, the Kirlian photography has been used to study the high frequency energy fields known as the aura, and its purpose has been to document the phenomena of electromagnetic energy that emanates from all living organisms. I will say, when I looked at mine the very first time, I understood why they separated lavender and violet, and they called neither one of them purple, because neither one of them looked like purple. It looked like lavender and it looked like violet. That's what it looked like. So let me just say that's a great description, is lavender and violet. And yeah. So it just lets us know that the Chilean photography does not pretend to prove the existence of the aura. It only points to evidence that something larger than just the physical form or body exists. Right? So for all those, skeptics, because I mean, if you've never heard of this stuff before, I'm sure it sounds supernatural, because it is. We are walking in the supernatural here. And I'm not picking on any particular religion, but everybody that practices some type of religion talks about supernatural things. So, I mean, just because you don't know about it don't mean it don't exist. Or you might call it something different. So before we go turning our backs and saying what works and what doesn't and what's fake and what's not, let's take a moment and use our thinking to decide if the information that's being shared, one, is something of benefit, and two, maybe correlates to something we already practice or believe in. You know what I mean? People talk about, for example, Christians talk about the Holy Ghost, the Holy Spirit, or laying of hands, or these different things like that. What that's energy work. Chanting, reciting the Quran, all these things, energy work. It's the vibration, it's the tones, and it even there's some point where they talk about how sound affects the aura, so let's move on to this questionnaire, and then I'm gonna stop talking. So they have, like I said, there are 90, what did I say, 98 questions. And each one, all right, so this scoring sheet is different than how, a lot of scoring sheets are. Each one has a number value. I thought you would find this interesting, Nick. Mm-hmm. Each one has a number value. And then when you take all the numbers and you fill them in, then you add the numbers or subtract the numbers or whatever they have you doing in each particular one. So it's very, very interesting. I mean, I'm like, this is some fascinating stuff, So, and again, it's simple enough to, it's simple enough for us to sit down and figure it out and do it. But it's also intricate enough to, and detailed enough to give us a real handle on our auras, our particular color, what it means, how we use it, how it affects us, etc., etc. So, the key to the questionnaire is 1 through 5. 1 means this does not describe me. 2 means I am very seldom like this. 3 means I am sometimes like this. 4 means I am often like this. And 5 is this is me. Okay. So question number 1, I thought this was interesting for all those Hetty McHead people. It says question number 1, you are methodical in your thinking. I think everybody who rock with us, Nick, would put 5 there, 4 or 5. What do you think?
Yeah.
4 or 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, you have a strong inner desire to make your mark on the world. A 4 or 5, most people that we rock with, right?
Yeah.
You resent emotional and domestic demands made on you. Yeah. I don't like the demands made on me. I don't like demands made on me. Number 4, esoteric, spiritual, or political philosophies have great emotional and intellectual appeal for you. So 5 for me.
Yeah.
No, here's one to make you laugh, Nick. You cry easy. Anybody that rock with me, let them know, Nick, she will cry on you in a what? I'm not holding none of them tears. Do you know how many tears I had to hold over all my life? Man, please, you get all them things out my body.
Yeah, that number 2 energy right there.
Yes, sir. That's right. Aquarius all day, boo-boo. I'm crying for the world. Jesus wept, okay? Number 10, you are a loner. Let's see. 13, you prefer working jobs that are physically demanding. 18, when you have money, you spend it. When you don't, you don't. And then it has things like, you are a nonconformist. You are slow to choose friends. You're a spontaneous person. You rarely show your deepest feelings. And again, you're going through here and doing this work individually, writing these numbers from the key you're plugging them into this specific system. Now, you're not just writing them down willy-nilly. They're going in this system in this way, because each one of these boxes has a number above it that needs to be added up. That's where that numerology aspect, Nick, that I thought you would like comes in. So in this first line where you're answering questions here, it gives you box 1, 1 plus box 2, which is 15. Box 3 is 29. Box 4 is 43. You see what I'm saying? So each one of these you're adding or either subtracting or whatever it is it has you doing with these numbers, and then it equals at the end, and you get a master number or a total for your colors over here.
Okay. So this is how you determine what the aura is.
Yes. With the aura color, your prominent aura color is. And again, this is about the personality type. So red is the first one here. So I'm just going to give a little bit about red and then I'll stop. So let's say you've done this work and it says your aura is red. Physical and sexual expression is the hallmark of a red. The key to success for reds is to act on what they know about physical reality and the tangible environment. Reds are literal in their interpretation of what goes on around them. They are not abstract thinkers, and for them, a table is a table, period. They are comfortable and safe in the world of nature and the elements. They pursue life with gusto and courage. The most powerful aspect of red is their ability to be in the world, to manage the aspects and realities of everyday living with self-confidence and assurance. Their gift is the respect and the awe that they have for the majesty and the might of nature. They seem to understand their role in the equation of humans' physical reality. And whether they are riding out a hurricane, rescuing a person from a burning building, or living their own lives, Reds love being here. Okay, so then it gives their approach to physical reality, their mental attitudes, their emotional makeup, and their social style, and their compatibility with others. So again, this is a great book. It talks about the physical, their compatibility, like for example, mental colors for red that are compatible to them. Mental tans are logical, steady, and security and conscious. Reds are independent, hardworking, and on occasion volatile. The physicality of the red helps the mental tan get out of their head, and the intellectual capabilities of the mental tan give balance and structure to a red's energy, assisting the red in creating positive outlets for self-expression. You see, so you learn how to see people not only in your life as, oh, well, what is it that they bring? You know, I always laugh when people talk about, well, what is it you bring? The experience. If you're in a relationship with someone, there's an experience there. I don't care if it's the man at the grocery store. I don't care if it's the bus driver. These are relationships, and how we interact with people says a lot about us and them. And by dealing with things like this auric personality, if you're a person that begins to learn and touches, or should I say taps into your ability, because we all have the ability, taps into the ability to be able to see auras, you won't look at that bus driver the same no more. Because you're not seeing him, you're seeing his aura. And you already know who you're dealing with. You know what you're dealing with. That day, he might be muddy. Maybe he's sad. Might not be the day to joke with him about that extra nickel for the, for the bus or whatever. So again, great book. I can't wait to get back in it. I can't wait to find out what it says about me. And I can't wait to see other people use it as well and hear their feedback. So my book for today, Barbara Bowers, What Color is Your Aura? Personality Spectrums for Understanding and Growth. Anybody want to join us this fall? Check us out and let us know. But right now, you should grab yourself a copy. You don't have to wait for us. You can jump right on it. So this is a good one. What color is your aura? Barbara Bowers. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Oh yeah, that sounds like a good one. Shoot, and you got me excited for fall studies. See, last year I did not participate in fall studies because the fall is usually a very busy time of the school year for me. But I don't know, I might have to move some things around and manage some time a little bit better so I could participate, because I've been missing out on the retiring family karma, and I'm like, no, I can't miss out on that last bit of retiring family karma and the auras too. So I got to sign up this fall. I'm going to have to sign up.
Listen, you've been with us before in the fall, and we always keep it fun. It's
we did.
Knowledge of self, getting to know yourself, learning who you are, becoming who you are. There are growing pains, but there should be some fun, some excitement to this. And books like this are exciting for me, and for many others, because because some of us are a little more seasoned, we can look at this and track our lives back and be like, I remember being like that. Or, oh, yeah, I remember that phase I went through. You and I were just talking about the eclipse, and they were saying, you said you saw a meme or a poster going around asking, what were you doing in 2017, the last eclipse? Think about that. This book, we've been studying since the 90s. So what was I doing in 1996? I was giving birth. That's what I was doing. I was giving birth.
Woo!
I was giving birth. I got a 30-year-old. It's 26. So 30 years ago, I can think about what was going on 30 years ago and be like, oh, I remember. That's why so-and-so. I see. My energy was different. I was going through said thing or whatever thing. And this is great. I mean, again, it's all about refinement. And it's not about right or wrong. Were you right? Were you wrong? Were you good? Were you bad? This is about where were you and where are you now? What's here right now? Today, the present, the gift that is right now. Where are you? What are you doing with it? Do you recognize it? Do you understand it? Do you know who you are? Do you know why you're here? I question that every day. Why am I even here, yo? Why am I even here, yo? What am I doing here? What was the purpose? What did I come here to do? I ask myself every day. Every day. What are you doing here, yo? But we also know I'm an Aquarius, so I got a spaceship that I've been waiting to get in anyway. You know what I'm saying? But for those of you who know. But you know, it's I definitely question daily. And you know, as I was just saying to my daughter, none of this is easy. And nobody said it would be. But what it did say is that you would have tools, and that the more you refine yourself, the easier it would become. And you know what? That has proven to be true. That has tracked. The more you know, the better you, and the more equipped you are to deal with whatever said thing is. It's about, you know, about action and not reacting. And the only way you can act proactively is to get in there and get to work. Know who you are, know what you are, know why you're here. And even if you don't, keep searching. So this is a great book. I look forward to getting into it in the fall. Those who decide to join us. But even if you don't, please pick up this book, you know, and just write us. Tell us what you got from it. Has it helped you at all? Because this is what we do this for, not just to share and geek out and show you our libraries, but it's to share things, tools that we've either used ourselves, that have been given to us, that we've come across, that have helped us in the journey of self-development. We talk about it's not easy. Well, it's not easy if you're not going to take some suggestions. Yep. You know, talk to somebody who done what you're trying to do. You know, so yeah. Yeah. Everybody, we are all apprentices. We are all learning this thing. We are there's no big ones and little ones. It's us, it's we. You know, so get that work, y'all. What color is your aura? Any questions, Nick? Any idea? Any thoughts on this? What's up?
Yeah. Had a couple on one of the questions that I thought of. You kind of answered in well, I kind of answered in part, but you know, I would also love to get your perspective and idea on it, because you mentioned a couple of the other sciences and other tools. In the beginning, you mentioned the chakras, because the chakras have colors, so you can see how the chakras and the auras kind of work together. And then we just got done talking about fall studies and how you'll be using this work along with retiring your family karma. And then I also thought about numerology too, especially when you were discussing going back into time and thinking about what were you doing or what were you going through back in 1995 or whenever it was. So I can see how this can line up with numerology in the sense that you can take any year that you want to know about, past, present, and future, and calculate it and see what the energy of frequency is. But my question is, I guess, aside from those tools and those sciences, what might be some other good companion tools or companion sciences that you can use in conjunction with this work with the aura colors?
Great question. All of them. But what where I saw this is in its most value, or should I say where I am at now in my studies, and where I'm in terms of again being the one that puts a lot of these lesson plans together, where I can see it merging really nicely is with astrology. Because one of the first things I would do, and that, for those who want to sneak peek into probably one of the lessons that'll be taking place this fall, sneak peek, heads up, maybe you might want to do it in advance, is one of the first things I would do after I found my aura color and it started to give me those basic characteristics. I would see how close or far they line up with my big three. My sun, my sun, my moon, my rising. Because that red sounds like what? Like Aries, right? Sounds like Mars energy. Sounds like Scorpio energy. It's fiery. It's fiery, but also somewhat emotional, but not really. You know, it could be it could be Leo kind of energy, fire. Sagittarius kind of energy, fire. But then as it begins to talk about things like because I remember that question about being as physical as possible. My daughter is an Aries, and that's one of the things she loves, is being physical. She loves things where she can get out and use her body in nature. You know, walking, climbing, hiking, whatever, you know. As a person, so knowing, so like I said, with astrology, you know your big three, right? Your sun, moon, and your rising. Now you know your aura color. What in my aura color and my sun, moon, and rising match? You know, where can I see my personality type inside these big three? Or vice versa. Where can I see these big three inside this personality type? What does it say about my job? Am I in the job that it says I would be good at? Have I done some of the things that it suggests? Have I ever worked in some of those fields before? Things like compatibility with others. I would begin to examine things like relationships. You know, and the first relationship is the one with your mother. So now it tells you that you can't go, or you should not go looking for your loved ones and things colors first until you get very familiar with your own. So that would probably be like lesson 7 down the road or something like that. But that first lesson for me would be taking your big three and seeing how they compare to your auric color that is dominant in your body, around your body.
Okay, good. Oh, interesting. Yeah, and yeah, that makes sense. I can see how the astrology lines up with that. And it's interesting that you just mentioned looking into the auric colors of your family members, and it brings me to my last question, because you showed the questionnaire, and that shows how you can identify your auric colors by answering the questions and tallying up the results. So my question is, how could you use this book, or does this book instruct you on how to possibly identify auras on the spot? So let's say, like you gave the example of the bus driver. You know, let's say you're right on the spot. You know, you don't. You know, you're not able to do the questions or ask the person the questions or whatever the process is. Is there a method where you can kind of read someone's aura that you first encounter, that you may not know you were going to encounter that person? Is there a way to identify their energy or their aura, you know, just like instantaneously on the spot?
Yes. 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 So let me read this first.
Okay.
And you'll see how it ties into the answer that I'm going to give you. Okay. Inshallah. Right before the questionnaire begins, right? Again, like I said, this is one of those books everybody has one in who's ever taken this class, is because this is your book. This is your workbook forever and ever. Amen. Right? So it says here, you may want to give friends and family an opportunity to take the questionnaire. And that way you can share the system with others while at the same time giving you insight as to how you can improve communications patterns with them. It may also be fun to see how you score others as opposed to how they score themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it gives you a variety of ways to do that. Like you said, in that sitting where you're in that setting where you're able to sit and do all this, work, writing, blah, blah, blah. But when you ask about uh assessing an aura on the spot, we moving into something different then. We're moving into seeing auras.
Yes.
So if you might not have a hint of a bonus book I might be bringing later on. So
Yeah, I got
seeing
you.
auras, if you remember when I was reading to you about the aura itself, I was saying that it talks about how you get further in tune with the ability to be able to be sensitive to the colors. So what we're talking about is learning how to do the same thing that Carillion photography does, basically. So you'll be able to um look at something, not any living thing, and see the energy that emanates around it. Like, in cartoons, they mimic it with like this pulsing light, and things like that. And it can be that for some people. And I've had people tell me it was easy, excuse me, for them to uh see auras, and for others it was not. One of the things that I found in the difference in the groups of people that are able to see them more easily than others is that the ones who were able to see them easy were very in tune with self and very intuitive. They were very, like, almost like your your not your clairvoyant, because those people would be able to understand the frequency of the clairaudient, and clairvoyant would be able to understand the frequency more. You would be talking more about like your empaths,
Right.
and people with that strong empathic energy many times are able to see colors. Think about when we would watch the cartoons or something, and they show the person seeing red, or they
Mm-hmm.
black out, or they say, "Oh, I'm about to black out." What
Mm-hmm.
happens is that something happens when they either just see a color or whatever, or go into darkness, what have you. Same thing kind of with this aura thing. You begin to, it almost looks like a person is vibrating a little
Mm.
bit, because that's what it really is,
Okay.
because you learn to read the energy around them. That's
Okay.
basically
Okay.
really what you're doing. And it takes time. And some people say, oh, people just pretend to see it or whatever. You know what? Again, I remember taking those photos, and I've done more than one over the years. And what I'll do sometimes is I'll do one maybe 1 year and wait 3 or 4 years and do another one and compare them to see if they look the same. Think about what I had going on the last time I had
Mm.
one doing, I had one in now. And the other key part is learning to see your own. That is how you begin to see others, is learning to see your own. So practicing looking for that shell outside of yourself, learning to see it, knowing that it's there, learning to feel it. You can, if you close your eyes and somebody gets within 6 feet of your face, you can feel it. You
Mm-hmm.
can feel it. So that's why even in the beginning of this, it talks about how it extends out 6 feet. Outside of that 6 feet, that's the normal range of the aura, but there are people who can feel 12 feet away. There are people who can feel a state away. And this is why distance Reiki works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing. You know, so again, here she, and I'm going to finish it with this because we know we're talking about her method. And again, a lot of times I'm sharing multitudes of instances that I've come across something. So we're going to come back to what she says here. Remember that when I speak of seeing the aura, I mean I see the rays of light, not color pigmentation like the dyes and paints we are used to on our walls and clothing. All color theory is based on the principle of that the color is light. When a beam of white light passes through a prism, a spectrum of the entire range in its pure colors is visible to the human eye and that is formed. And the color wheel associated with the spectrum of pure light has three primary colors: violet, blue, orange, red, and green. The color pigmentation wheel contains the primaries red, blue, and yellow. And the differences between the light spectrum and the light pigmentation spectrum is the difference between a rainbow seen in the sky and a rainbow painted on a piece of paper. Your main color in your aura is your personality color and indicates your behavior and character style. And as you become aware of your aura color, you can choose situations and actions that work for you and that are in harmony with your natural inclinations and that your brain and nervous system can handle most efficiently and bring you the most joy. And when you're able to recognize that, you're able to see it because it's a common frequency, you know, one that you recognize, a pattern you recognize. You know, it's like when you, it's like for an Aquarius that meet another Aquarius. It's like we know. You know what I mean? We don't know why we know, but we know. It's something there that lets us know we are amongst our own kind. Yeah. You know? So again, we have to remember there's a psychology of the aura, and it does really talk about frustration and jobs and burnout and all these different things and how that changes things in the aura. So again, like I said, this is just a really great learning tool. And if not for nothing, it allows us to take a moment to check our temperature in terms of our personality. A lot of those questions, while some of them make you laugh, you know, it's like it's telling something, you know, it's telling something. You know, no matter what those numbers add up to, we done now answered these questions, and it's like, oh, okay. I ain't even thinking. And I would encourage people to go through the questions straight as they are. Don't think about them, just answer them. No, because if you give them too much time, you're gonna put what you think sounds right. Right. Versus what you really truly stand on, or what you truly believe, or how you truly feel. So I tell people, go through, don't be calculated, be like a child. Go in and wonder, you know, and excitement and adventure. You're about to meet a new person, and guess who it is? You. So, what color is your aura? By Barbara Bowers. Great book, fall work, and I'm excited to get to it. It's a lot of work to be done between now and fall, so I got my work cut out for me because this is a pretty healthy book, and it is very, very detailed. I think anyone who really wants to understand the subject will have a great time with this book. I went through a lot to, like, you know, it was, I'm not going to say there wasn't a lot of work on the color of your aura, but not from this perspective when I was looking at what would be helpful. And I'm always looking for books that are good team builders as well, because a lot of times when some of our people come together in workshops, they don't know each other. And this is a way to begin to know yourself and know each other and hit the ground running and break the ice, and people laughing and, oh, I didn't know that about myself, or so it's a great self-discovery tool and an ice-breaking tool. So for all my people that put together HR events and all that stuff like that, looking for a good icebreaker, something like this would be fun.
Yes.
Detailed but fun.
Yeah. It will be fun, and it just serves so many purposes. It's fun, and then you also mentioned when you're sharing the information about the author, who's a teacher. Also, this could definitely be one of those tools, or it should be one of those tools that can assist schools, teachers, administrators, guidance counselors on building culture within the school, and also within helping students young people find or discover their interests and their possible career inclinations, just like the other metaphysical sciences, just like with astrology and the numerology, that helps you discover similar information about yourself. Yeah, it could be used in a variety of ways. So yes, this is a awesome offering. And like I said, I'm going to be joining fall studies, so I am going to get this book. I may not get it right now. I'll probably wait until we get ready to start.
Wait until the announcement, because we may be able to get some. So wait until the announcement. We may have a couple to donate and give in scholarship packages. So if anyone is interested, get in that DM and let us know about your interest, and we'll put your name on that list so some scholarships become available that'll help offset the cost of taking the courses over the fall and winter.
And it's funny you mentioned the Curlian photographs, because the book that I mentioned to you yesterday, that author, that's one of his things that he's done, besides doing the lottery stuff, he was also a Curlian photographer. So he used to have clients that he used to take photographs and do analysis for. So the synchronicities be lining up.
It's so crazy, because I looked at my picture the other day before I decided to bring this book, and I looked at the picture and I put the picture away. And then later on, I ended up pulling the book from my other bookshelf in the other room. So I was like, I must have knew what I wanted to do then, but just didn't. I wasn't listening. I had a lot of other stuff going on. But yeah, I was not familiar with that photography. And I remember the first couple of times I saw it, I was like, that don't work, yo. I'm just taking, they ain't getting my $15, my $20, man. Get out of here. And then I remember there was this lady that I used to vend with, and she was just talking about it and how hers had changed, and blah 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 and everything, and I was like, you know what, let me just try this, so the first one, in my opinion, even though I got it and it gives you this report and it and everything, and it sounds good, it wasn't until my second one that I could say that I trusted the process a little bit better, because I could see differences. And I could see differences. I knew what was going on different in my life at those different times. And what the report said lined up with the last report, but in a way where it had evolved. So the situation that was going on then had resolved itself, and it was proven in that photo and in that report. So I said, oh, well, maybe I should give this a little more weight, take a little look at this. So yeah, it's I might have a hard time saying the word, but I have a great time interpreting the picture, because it's something to stare at, because you have an all black background, and then your face and body is there, and then you got these colors around you, and they're not everywhere. They're not, and that was the other thing. they're not like this. You know what I mean? They show them, they show themselves in different places. So instead of having like a solid, instead of you being able to see like a solid red line or a solid purple line, or I mean not purple but violet or lavender, it's like you see glimpses. It's almost like glares against the face or the outside of the body. So it's very interesting. I again, I will say moving forward on the wish list for MaWu Lisa Temple brick and mortar space, we do have one of those cameras on our wish list. So we have one of those on our wish list. So if you wanna be a helper in the community, yeah, let us know. But yeah, we would like to have one of those because I think it would be a great addition to the course. I mean, it's nothing like hands-on work, being able to see it for yourself, because that is truly what changed my perspective, because I did not really, because I couldn't tap in at that time enough to see with my naked eye. Those pictures actually gave me something tangible to take a look at and see if there was enough of a marked difference, knowing only what I knew, because I didn't even take the second picture with the same person, you know, and I had taken it like 2 years later. So it wasn't like they were like, I took one on Monday and one on Friday. I took some time in between. And like I said, the issues that were going on that the report highlighted in that next one, where you saw a change in that energy and that color, it spoke directly to the issue that was going on formerly that had been resolved. So
interesting.
So it proved itself.